Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It's fantastic to have you here. Today we're going to be working on a childhood relic of mine. My nanny bought me this chair when I was very, very small, maybe 2 or 3, I'll have to double check with mum.
No. Look at the top of his head. Look at his lips.
And I've had it all my life. Obviously I don't sit in it anymore now, I've outgrown it, but it's always been in the back garden, getting old and unfortunately needing a bit of repair now. I've already dismantled it off camera. All of the wood is going to be replaced for new. I have still got all of the fixings that hold it together, and the frame we're going to sand and repaint and make it nice, put it back together, completely refurbish it. I have the dimensions of the pieces of wood that we need written down, and we're going to be using the new table saw and even another new tool that I got for my 18th birthday to make them come to shape, or come to fruition, shall we say. So let's jump right in. If you're new here, please do like and subscribe. Let's jump in and get some work done. Now we're going to be making the pieces of wood for the chair out of this oak, and I've just checked the note and written down the dimensions on this handy 2x8 whiteboard. Hopefully you can see them. If not, it says we need 6 pieces that are 11 inches by 1.5 inches, and we need 2 pieces that are 6.25 inches by 1.5 inches also. The thickness of those I will have to check and probably eyeball off of the way the chair frame is, but the important dimensions that we need are these ones, which is why I've got them written down. If we refer back to our photo, these pieces here with a red line on them are all going to have a curved edge to them so that it's comfortable to sit on, and so that it looks nice. The other 2 with green lines on them can just be rectangles. So I think it's going to be easier to cut the 2 rectangular pieces first. That's these 2, the 6.25 by 1.5 inches. Let's go and get this oak in the chop saw and then onto the table saw to make them up. All of the pieces of wood are going to need to be about 1/2 inch thick. Okay, that is our 2 6.25 by 1.5 inch pieces made, and they should sit either side of this backrest section here, like this. And the others, we now need to put the curved corners on. Now for that, we are going to be using my new my new tool, which I got for my birthday, which is a router. This bad son of a gun was a wonderful present from the same uncle and aunt who got me the original chop saw. He did mention me getting a router when we visited last time, and I said it'd be a good idea for me to get one, and I was intending on it, but next thing I know it's my 18th birthday and I've been given one as a present. So that's just awesome. I have had a look at it out of the box, of course, but I've not actually fired it up yet, so this will be the first time that you actually see me using it. Not sure if they bought the set of bits to go in it separately or whether they came with. Either way, there's a little set here. You can see all of the different cuts that I can now make, and I think for these pieces we're going to be needing this one. It says it will cut a radius of 6.3 millimeters. Now I'm not sure how that transfers across to what we're making here, but I suppose in order to get a lesser radius I will just raise up the bit so it takes a shallower cut, and of course we will have a practice on some softwood, scrap wood, before we go on to the nice expensive oak. Okay, this is me trying it for the first time. I've not bothered with any of these accessories yet, to I assume they are for, I've yet to read the instructions because I'm a moron, but these will be so that I can do very accurate running from the correct distance from the edge of the wood so I don't cut too deep, but for now I'll just go freehand. I think this is the first time I've ever used it on this piece of practice wood. Looks like we're going to come in here and take a little cut and put a radius on. Well, that's awesome. Look at the state of that. Smooth. Nice. Thank you very much to my aunt and uncle. I absolutely love it. This is going to be just perfect. Okay, that's got all 6 of those cut. I've got the first one in the vise, my router bit set up. Let's get on with this and see if we can put some nice curves on them. Okay, I've put all the necessary curves on all of the necessary pieces, and I've also sanded a couple of them. I need to do that to all of them, but I think I'm going to put those aside for now, so that we can do a bit of work in this video on the frame and the metal. And then, yes, it'll probably need another episode to varnish and put everything together. I was about to shut the camera off, but we might as well do one of these and we'll have a little tidy up. And there you go. Hopefully now we can work on the metal bits a little bit easier with less mess about. So these are the 2 sides of the chair. They go like this. Let me see if I can do one of them. Now 4 of the 11-inch pieces have both sides with the curbs on, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 that you sit on. And then there's 4 pieces, 2 that are 11 inches and 2 that are 6¼ inches long, that go round this backrest bit up here, the 11-inch bits across the top and the 6¼ bits down the sides. So there's screws to hold those on to this through those holes there, and everything else is with little nuts and bolts. Now I do have everything, or all of those fasteners, up in a bag here. And if we open that up a second, I'll try and do it quick, you'll be able to see that some of them might need replacing, but some of them hopefully should be reusable. Let me have a look through. Right, so hopefully you can see that the heads of some of these bolts are fine, and the heads of some of them, focus, are not very good at all. The screws all look to be in decent condition actually, although I'm not sure if I've lost one of these. Might need to replace one just because it fell out and didn't get picked up. I'm just trying to think now about which bits of these, whether it'll just be the heads of the bolts and the screws or whether all of them will be exposed, so that when it comes to painting, to see if I need to paint any of these, because if we can get them painted, I think if they need it, I think we'll try and do that just to make everything look a bit nicer. And the entirety of the two sides and the back, I'm going to sand down. All of these bits are cast, so I will probably remove some of those cast marks if I can, and then we'll be able to completely re-spray these black. So all that leaves to do is get the angle grinder out. Now, you remember in a couple of videos ago that broke on me, but me and Dad had a look at it and it was totally fine. It was a small problem, we fixed it really easy, so yeah, we like to persevere with those kinds of things, and no worries, good to keep the old tools running. Just as a side note, for anybody that doesn't know, cast marks refer to lines like this. You might be able to see there. In cast components like this, in the factory, they will be, molten metal will be poured into a mold, which is in two halves, and there is a void in the middle that is what fills with the metal. Now, where the two halves of that mold meet, there will be a slight crack for molten metal to pour into, obviously solidify, so when the mold is broken away, you are left with this raised casting mark. Now, it's very rare for companies to bother to remove that, and often when it's covered in paint and things, you won't even see it. Down in places like this, under here, you can see it can actually be quite proud and quite sharp. So when restoring, it's quite nice, I think, to knock those off, and it just makes everything that much smoother, nicer to look at. It was also quite interesting getting this quite awkward shape to fit in the vise, but I think I should manage. Right, that's taken the worst of the cast marks off of this one. It's going to be much the same process for the other bit, so let's go like that so that everything is now done. I've also taken the wire brush to most of it. I've not done the nuts and bolts yet, but I've made a lot of dust and I've not got a mask on, and so I'm very dirty. You can see all the dust around here. It's all up my nose, and I'm pretty worn out of it now, I think. So I'll definitely probably bring a mask if I'm going to do that much grinding in future. So lessons learned, but I think now I'm just going to get tidied up and probably finish the video here because it's getting late in the day. I've been filming all day today. I've done 2 videos. I'm pretty worn out, so I'll get tidied up and we'll have a little chat before we go. Right then, folks, excuse me if I sound a bit worse for wear and a bit all over the shop. My head, I feel like I've got a bit of a head cold throughout the day, and I've also now rammed my sinuses full of sawdust and grinding dust as well. So I'm a bit all over the place, but I've tidied up, and we've now got our nice pieces ready to be probably a bit more wire brushing at the start of next time, as well as drilling and varnishing and sanding the pieces of wood and putting them together with the fasteners, which may or may not get some refurbishment, to finish my chair off. So although I made the mistake of not wearing a mask when doing all of that grinding and probably all of the table sawing as well, I am very grateful and really excited about my table saw and the new chop saw and the router. All of them fantastic presents, and I can't wait to use them more in the future. I also had a great time today doing the jobs, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.